Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video of Vlogmas, I am going to be showing you how I made these super sparkly jewel ears. These are Seven Dwarfs inspired, but I think that they would be fantastic for New Year's Eve and Christmas and honestly just, like a Tuesday. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I will tell you guys, I finally found a method that I like for making ears like this. I have attempted this before and failed miserably, so I am so happy to be bringing you guys this tutorial, and without any more blabbering on, let's get into it. So to start off, you are going to need some cardboard as well as the ear sewing line template, which I have linked in the description box below. You're going to want to print this, cut it out, and then you're going to trace 2 of these onto the cardboard. You are only going to need 2 cardboard ears. You don't want to double layer these ears because that would make them far too heavy. So go ahead and cut out the 2 cardboard ears. And then I would also choose a cardboard that is a little bit on the thinner side. Again, you want to try to keep these as lightweight as possible because I will tell you guys the jewels do weigh down the ears a good bit. This next step is what makes these ears so sparkly and beautiful. I got this piece of scrapbook paper from Joann's. By the way, I am showing you guys how I did a clear set because originally these were just going to be New Year's Eve ears, and unfortunately I did make or find a mistake, I guess, and so I redid them to be Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But anyway, it's the same method. So basically you're going to take that cardboard ear and you're going to trace it onto this silver sparkly scrapbook paper. I did use purple for the mine train ears and it worked beautifully behind all of the multicolored. If I was going to do, red and green, I would probably do like red sparkly or green sparkly behind it. And then I'm going to just apply some hot glue and press down the glittery scrapbook sheet ear piece on top and do the same thing on the back. This is going to fill in the gaps between the jewels to where all that is showing is just more sparkle. Once you have let that glue dry, then you're going to go in with your individual gems. So I am using E6000 to attach these. Please do not use hot glue. It does not work. I learned that the hard way, guys. It just doesn't. It does not do the same job. The jewels don't hold on as well. And the worst part is you have a gajillion hot glue strings that you're trying to clean up and it doesn't work. So use E6000. I would suggest using the smaller tube for later on when you're working on the edging because the opening of the larger tube is so big that it kind of makes it a little bit more challenging. But as for sticking them on, I am using this little silhouette tool. It's literally like a little stick with a sticky side and then a not sticky side, and you can use the sticky side to pick up the jewel and then press it into the ear. You can get these in any craft store, but they also do have like off-brand ones that's sole purpose is to lay down gems. This made this go by so much faster. I tried to do this with my hands and it was not fun. So pointing out why I had to switch to the multicolored jewels is because I laid all of these down and like a dingus, I did not make sure that I had enough clear jewels to do both ears, let alone both sides of both ears. So I got pretty far and then I realized that I was running low, so I dug through like my reserves of gemstones, and I don't know why, but the second group of jewels that I used had a completely different look to them. And I am going to fast forward and then show you guys what I'm talking about. But basically, 85% of the ear looked one way and then this little cluster of jewels looked completely different. So I did start over and do a multicolored set for you guys, but the actual steps of this are great. Just make sure that you have all of your jewels picked out and planned out ahead of time and that you find a good piece of sparkly scrapbook paper to lay behind the jewels. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. If you guys look on the bottom center, these jewels just have a completely different like reflectiveness to them, and I don't know why. If you know why, tell me in the comments below because I'm very curious. And then this is what the back of that sparkly paper looked like. This is what the other set looked like that I made. You can kind of see the purple sparkly paper behind it, and I just think they came out beautifully. So now we're just going to go ahead and do the edging of the ear. It's the exact same method. I'm just applying a thin line of E6000 and then I'm using that little gemstone pickup tool to lay them into the glue. The edge was the only time that I found that you could use too much glue. Obviously you don't want to go crazy anywhere with this glue, but if you used a little bit too much on the flat part of the ear, like the front and the back, then you could just kind of smear it around a little bit more. But on the edge, you don't really have that option. So do take your time, don't use too much at once, and then you're just going to slowly line the ear. I did do a pattern of jewels, so I pre-laid out all of the jewels that I was going to need and the colors I was going to need. But you could just do it randomly. It just kind of depends on how, I guess, picky you are. And as always, if you guys have any comments about this process, please leave them for me in the comments below. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And then this is what the ear looked like totally done, and now we are going to attach them to our headband. So this is my ear spacing template. I do have this linked for you in the description box below. This was so helpful for this set of ears. Like, the ears lay so flat on the paper that it was so simple to use this. But basically I just lined up the ears, and then I'm just using my finger as a marker because I have done this a lot before, and I'm lining the bottom of the ear with a thin line of hot glue and then firmly pressing it down. If I did this again, I think that I would do both hot glue and E6000, especially if you're planning on traveling with your ears. If you're gonna, pack them in a suitcase or something, you want to make sure that they're not going to snap off the headband. Mine are very secure. I did shake them around and kind of like rattle them and stuff just to make sure, and I even pulled on the ears to see if I could rip them off easily. But again, if you are worried about it, I would suggest using the E6000 and the hot glue. So now for the bow, I am using this kind of sherbet green felt that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was only 30 cents. And then I am cutting about a 6 by 5 inch rectangle, and I'm just going to pinch it in the middle and hot glue in where it is bunched up. If you're not sure on the sizing, just take your ears before you put any glue on and check the sizing. That way you can trim it or cut a new piece if you need to. For the center of the bow, you are going to need a thin strip of coordinated felt. I'm going to pinch and add 2 little dots of hot glue into the center, and now a dot on the bottom, and wrap that thin piece of felt around 2 times and then glue it into place. By the way, I did forget to mention this, but when you are attaching your ears to the headband, make sure that the glue has completely dried because you don't want the jewels falling off while you are attaching it to the headband. So just to add a little bit of detail, I'm cut this little tiny square of purple felt, and I'm going to add this kind of like a patch. This just reminded me a little bit more of Dopey's little outfit, how he has the patches on his elbows. I'm applying that with just a dot of hot glue, and then I'm going to go in with this black puffy paint and do kind of little stitch marks. I'm just going to do 2 on each side of the rectangle to make it look like it was kind of sloppily sewn on. And that's pretty much it for the bow. Please let your puffy paint dry. I needed to finish filming this, so I went ahead and I applied some hot glue to the bottom of the center of the bow and then firmly pressed it down on the headband. But the paint is wet, guys, so you are risking kind of ruining your bow if you do this wrong. And that's it for this tutorial. The ears are all done, sparkly, and ready to wear once that puffy paint is dry. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments below. And let me know if you enjoyed this, if you think that these remind you of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, if you plan on recreating these maybe for New Year's or a holiday party. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.